The story starts with a 34-year-old homeless, jobless, loser, socially awkward dude. Hey, I'm not talking about you. Chill. Anyways, after being hit by our dear truck-kun in pursuit of saving some girl's life, the guy wakes up in another world as a baby called Rudeus Greyrat, the son of Paul Greyrat and Zenith. Immediately, he started showing exceptional magical skills, so his parents hired a demon girl named Roxy to be his magic teacher, who looks like a lolly. But I'm sure that's totally legal. But in just a matter of time, Rudeus showed that he's built differently because he's able to perform magic without incantations, a feat not many people in that world are able to accomplish. So he decides that in this new chance in life, he will be the opposite of his previous one and be good at something. 6 months have passed since Rudeus began his lessons with Roxy, and in that time, he becomes unstoppable. His magical skills increased so much that Roxy has nothing to teach him. Now it's a time for the final exam with Roxy, where Rudeus had to summon a huge thunderstorm, which Roxy declares as passed. Even the strongest looking mage would have gotten wrecked by this 5-year-old. Roxy then goes on her journey, and Rudeus thanks her for everything she's done for him. He was referring to when he sniffed her panties to calm down, and of course for helping him with his fear of going outside. With his new overcome fear, Rudeus starts discovering his neighborhood and sees a half-elven boy getting bullied and saves him. He became friends with a boy who's named Sylphie. Rudeus started teaching him magic, only to find out that Sylphie was a girl when they were bathing each other. Well, an elven woman in an isekai world sounds like an anime needs fantasy. And even though Sylphie started getting awkward, Rudeus was determined to befriend her for obvious reasons. After many tries, many tries, Zenith announces that she's finally pregnant. But you know who else was pregnant? Their maid, Lilia. And who was responsible for the ever-growing population? Paul! What? He was seduced by Lilia. Still, that's wrong. After some time, everybody forgot about the incident, and Rudeus got 2 sisters named Norn and Aisha. At that time, Rudeus realizes that he wants to learn even more magic and not fall behind Roxy, so he decides to go to Ranoa Magic University. However, it was very expensive, so he asks his dad to find him a job so he's able to cover both tuitions. The following morning, while training, Paul began attacking more aggressively and knocks out Rudeus. He wakes up in a chariot and sees Ghislaine, a beast woman, sitting in front of him and tells him that they will be working together moving forward. After reaching the city of Roa, Rudeus meets a guy who's as goofy as his father, Philip Boreas Greyrat. And yes, they are related. Philip wants him to teach his daughter, Eris, magic, but would not listen to him. Rudeus comes up with an excellent plan of getting Eris kidnapped and saving her to gain her trust. Things didn't go as expected. Everything was supposed to be a plan, but the people involved really wanted to hurt Eris. In the end, Ghislaine and Rudeus killed the criminals, got the captors arrested, and gained Eris's trust, even if she was a tsundere. With Eris's trust and the help of Ghislaine, Rudeus begins his lessons. For the next few weeks, he'll be teaching them math and magic. In exchange, he'll learn and practice sword fighting with them. Eris's 10th birthday was approaching, but she needed dancing classes. This gave Rudeus time to learn more languages to riz the females from all different races, but mostly to understand this new world much more quickly. Now it's Eris's birthday party, and everyone is excited for her dance. After the party, Eris's grandfather, Soros, sees and ignores a strange ball in the sky. The ball had an evil feel to it, indicating something bad was going to happen. 2 years later, it's Rudeus's birthday, and while he's disappointed that his parents couldn't make it here, he gets a magic staff as a gift, and Philip expresses his concern about him marrying Eris. Later that night, Rudeus is surprised to see Eris in his room, and sure enough, he makes a move to do that something with her. This guy misses nothing. But he goes overboard, so she pushes him away and leaves. A few days later, as Ghislaine, Rudeus, and Eris were training, a huge cloud of mana manifested where the strange ball in the sky was. Some guy named Perugius sends his aide Almanfi to investigate. Upon arriving, he starts to attack Eris and Rudeus, but is saved by Ghislaine. She faces him in a close fight and tries to convince him that they are not responsible for that phenomenon. Suddenly, a huge light beam drops down from the sky and expands all over the area. Everyone attempted to flee, but they were engulfed by it and disappeared. Rudeus wakes up in a white room in his previous old body. A white figure greets him, saying that he is the man god. He assures him he's not dead and advises him to help the man that's with them when he wakes up. Rudeus finds out that he and Eris are stranded on a demon continent. Shortly after, they were rescued by a pale Zoro-looking guy called Rudeus Superdia. Rudeus and Eris were terrified of the guy when they woke up because there was a belief that these types of demons are merciless killers and they are supposed to avoid them at all costs. But Rudeus noticed that that wasn't the case. Rudeus explained that the Superdia race is quite overpowered, but they were cursed and framed by demon god Laplace, turning them into mindless murderers. Rudeus is on a quest to clear the name of his people. Rudeus offers to help him with that in exchange for Rudeus to guide them back to their home. They arrived in the city of Rikarisu, but to avoid chaos, they painted Rudeus' hair blue and made him look like he was a member of a Migurdia tribe. Once inside, they joined an adventurers guild to complete jobs to earn money, all under the name of Dead End in an effort to clear Rudeus' name. But in one job, he lost control and killed someone, so Rudeus started lecturing him why he shouldn't be killing. They start to take on high-risk jobs to earn some more money and get the hell out of this place. One day, while returning from one of the missions, they encounter a horse dude that was threatening them to revoke their license and their means to earn money. Feeling desperate and angry, Rudeus couldn't think of a way out, so he decided to use his most powerful spell to destroy the city. But that's where Rudeus drops his disguise to scare and threaten the guy. After that, they leave the city of Rikarisu and go to the edge of the demon continent, not knowing that Roxy has just arrived in the same city to look for them. While sleeping, Rudeus meets the man god again and tells him to buy food in the market and go walk in the back alley. Rudeus does as he's told and ends up meeting the reincarnated demon emperor Kishirika Kishirisu, who gives him a demon eye for feeding her. At first, he thought that the demon eye was BS, but it does allow him to see a few seconds in the future. Later that evening, Rudeus acquired the services of a smuggler to sneak Rudeus into the boat they were going to travel to Zant. Meanwhile, Roxy and her new companions are desperately searching for Rudeus, but their timing is so bad that they miss each other by several minutes. There came a point where Roxy even saw Rudeus and Eris fighting, but since Rudeus wasn't there, she thought both were Superds fighting and ran away. After reaching Zant with the help of Gallus, they found out that dozens of beast children were being held captive and treated poorly. Rudeus goes all out on the captors, while Rudeus and Eris free the kids. Rudeus goes back to the cells to free a spirit beast, but he's captured by a pair of beastmen who thought Rudeus was the smuggler. Talk about tough luck! Rudeus is held as a prisoner in the Dedoldia, and there he meets Geese, who's a rogue gambling cheater. A few days into imprisonment, the village is attacked by more smugglers who start destroying the village and capturing more kids. Rudeus discovers that Gallus is their leader and begins to fight him along with all the other beastmen. Gallus's swordsmanship is unparalleled, but Rudeus, with the help of his new Sharingan, blew him up and won. After the battle, Rudeus reunites with Rudeus and Eris. The beast people apologize for the misunderstanding and offer them their hospitality. Thanks to the rainy season, our party was forced to stay in the Dedoldia village for the next 3 months. They even met Guys, Ghislaine's older brother, who reveals that she's considered a traitor for leaving their village. But he can't say that in her face though. Those muscles aren't just for looks. After 3 months, they start going towards the holy country of Milis and are joined by Geese, who's headed in the same direction. After reaching Milis, Rudeus is investigating some kidnappers that led him to their hideout. There he fights their leader, who turns out to be his papa. You would think that it would be the perfect time for a reunion, right? Wrong! Instead, the father and son go on blaming each other for their shortcomings. Paul says that Rudeus has been taking it easy while they've been dying to know what happened to Zenith. On the other hand, Rudeus blames Paul for being weak and not coming to save them. In the end, Rudeus goes away in sadness and Eris comforts him. Such a beautiful plot, isn't it? After a while, Geese visits Paul and tells him what happened with them back on Dedoldia Island. He even asks Paul to man up, stop being a man-child, and reconcile with Rudeus. After meeting for the second time, Paul apologized and both agreed to forget about the incident that happened. Instead, they should be happy that they are alive and together. I'm gonna cry, damn it. It's just so beautiful. But this still didn't stop them from parting ways, as Paul wanted to look for Zenith in places that they hadn't checked yet, and for Rudeus to look for Lilia in the kingdom of Shirone. Roxy goes back to her hometown as Rudeus crosses the sea to the central continent. She had quite the breakdown since everyone in her town thinks she's a freak for not being able to use telepathy to talk to others like they do. She even felt that her parents were disappointed in her, and that's why she had run away. Now that she was back, they talked it out, and now they are happy, and she feels good. Her parents tell her that they met Rudeus and that he's safe. Now Rudeus again meets the sus man god who literally gives him the blueprint of meeting Lilia and Aisha. As he reaches the kingdom of Shirone, he sends a letter to Roxy and saves Aisha from some pursuers. Rudeus is led into a trap and gets imprisoned in a basement by Pax. He also kept Lilia hostage and wanted to use her from the beginning to capture Roxy. But his original plan failed, so instead, he captured Rudeus with the belief that Roxy would come to aid him. Still captured, Rudeus meets the perverted Prince Enoba, the brother of Pax. He promises to undo Rudeus' seal if he promises to teach him sculpting. After a lot of family drama, Rudeus is freed, and so are Lilia and Aisha. They go back home, and Lilia returns Roxy's panties and gives him Sylphiette's necklace, which she made for him on his 10th birthday. Everything seemed good for a while, but if you know isekai anime, something huge is coming. So, wait for it. And as Rudeus, Ruijerd, and Aris are on their journey, they meet someone called Orsted. He began attacking them when he found out Rudeus was in touch with a man god. An intense battle breaks out, but the dragon god beats the living hell out of Ruijerd, smacks Aris into the wall, and destroys Rudeus' organs. This part was so badass. Orsted thinks that Rudeus is one of the bad guys for being affiliated with the man god. See, I knew the sus-looking god had something up his sleeve. Still injured, Rudeus gathered the strength to conjure a very powerful fire spell and throw it at Orsted. He's barely able to deflect it, but he has had enough and he one-tap destroys Rudeus. The man god comes and explains that Orsted is full of curses, but Rudeus is not affected by his curses. As Rudeus was dying and didn't know whether the man god was good or bad, he still thanked him. He opened his eyes to find out he was still alive. Convinced by his companion, a cute-looking girl named Nanahoshi, Orsted saved their life. The next day, our party reaches Rudeus' hometown, where flashbacks take over him. Ruijerd then reveals that since both Rudeus and Aris are strong enough to take care of themselves, he will be leaving. Rudeus and Aris go to Roa, and Alphonse reveals that Aris' parents were killed in teleportation. They then stay in Roa for the night when Aris enters his tent dressed really sexy and tells him that it's time to fulfill her promise to him from 5 years ago. Rudeus, with no second thought, went to work. The next day, he's confused to find out that she left with Ghislaine. Damn, was it that bad that she left town?
Emotional, damn it!
Probably his staff didn't bring the magic. Days pass and Rudeus is depressed in the tent dealing with his first breakup. We get it, bro. We've been there. On the other hand, Aris is training with Ghislaine to get stronger so that she feels worthy of being with Rudeus. That's sweet, but you can't just give him one of the greatest pleasures there is and just ditch him. Anyway, Ruijerd is out there protecting kids and people so he can clear his name. Roxy meets Kishirika, who reveals the exact location of Rudeus' family. She tells her that Zenith is located in the labyrinth city of Rapan on the Begarit continent. Roxy and her party took off to find Zenith while Rudeus was still depressed. But the motivating voice of his mother came to comfort him, giving him all the confidence he needed to pick himself up. And remember, he had no time to be feeling sorry, because he must go find her. And finally, we see a glimpse of Sylphiette, who has grown up to be a flawless elf with white hair and badass gear. She wants to recruit Rudeus to join her team, so she's in pursuit of finding him.